This is Luther Beck. Powerhouse is the show. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. You are loved by the Father up above. You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. You are loved by His one and only Son. That's a quote from the song You Are Loved by one of my favorite bands, Christafari. Go check out the music video on YouTube for You Are Loved. Super good song. At the end they say, tell someone, over and over, tell someone. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm telling you, you are a loved one. And thank you for listening. I want to do a quick correction. The last episode that I put out, I made a comment about the prophecies that Jesus fulfilled in His earthly life. And I said there was 3,000 or so. And correction, it was more like 300 or so. This is the beauty of doing a off-the-cuff, no notes, organic style podcast. But hey, thank you for forgiving me on that one. And I just kind of explained a little bit about my background, and I realized I also didn't really tell you who I am all the way for people who don't know. So I can just hit a couple more notes about me. I live in North Carolina. I think in my explanation of how I got to where I am now, I mentioned that I moved from California to the East Coast, but more specifically, the state of North Carolina, and then eventually the mountains of North Carolina. We call it the high country of North Carolina, the Appalachian Mountains. It's a beautiful place to live. I have a wife and 4 kids. We are on the road to foster and adoption. This is something that's been laid on our hearts for quite a while, and we are taking steps and leaps into that ministry of caring for the least of these, the orphans, people who are in need of love to a great degree. So, what else can I throw in there? Oh, I was homeless in 2 different states. Maybe I'll go into that story when I talk more about the drugs. I'm going to do a whole series on drugs, and that might be 2 episodes, might be 4, or might be 10. The issue of the drug scourge, of pharmacon, of, well, the slippery slope and every other thing that's connected to drugs, drug addiction, and all of that. So, welcome to this one. I believe I would like to talk about health, spiritual health. Asking a question, are you spiritually healthy? Let me go ahead and read this definition that I have from Merriam-Webster. The word health. I thought if you're going to ask the question, are you spiritually healthy? Well, what is health? According to the dictionary, health is the condition of being sound in body, mind, or spirit, especially freedom from physical disease or pain, well-being, a toast to someone's health or prosperity, the general condition or state, a condition in which someone or something is thriving or doing well. So the first definition is the condition of being sound in body, mind, or spirit. So soundness, you could almost say like security. So I could ask the question, are you spiritually sound? Are you spiritually secure? Are you spiritually healthy? Now, in our culture, I'm sure we've heard a lot about physical health, fitness, working out, dieting. We've heard a lot about mental health. as you know, there's a mental health crisis right now, worse than ever before, among even young children. And you can just, you know it in your heart, but you can go look up the statistics that are going on right now after COVID, and with the social media, and just with all of the confusion that's going on right now. Younger and younger kids are super suicidal. The suicide rates are way up. The self-harm rates are way up. And the condition of our culture is on a decline. One of the reasons why I want to get this radio show out there is to just try my best to be a positive voice amongst this chaos. I mean, we're so divided. You hear everybody talking about it. We don't like it. We don't want it. You can't really have a non-triggering conversation with anybody anymore. But people my age, I want to say in their late 30s or early 40s or and up, we're not really into all of the censorship and all of the highly emotional politicizing of everything, for the most part. But our younger generation has fallen into the trap, and they don't know any better. Back to the question, are you spiritually healthy? Well, I'll ask it to myself. I feel that I am sound spiritually, with my spirituality, with my beliefs, with my faith, with my practice of spirituality. I feel that I'm secure, and I don't feel like I'm being tossed back and forth with waves going back and forth on what I believe all the time. So that's something that really gets me through. When all the turbulence comes, I have a rock to stand on, and that is a spiritual rock. Hallelujah. So I almost feel like there's two ditches with asking a question like this. And especially since I don't know exactly who my target audience is or who's tuning in, I'm going to go ahead and assume it's a mixed bag, which is what I really want. I want anybody and everyone to be able to tune in and listen, and even write in and ask questions, and even come on the show and be interviewed. But the two ditches, I feel like, with asking spiritual questions or about spiritual health, well, on one side, complete obliviousness to spirituality, or even the spirit, the realm of the spirit, or the spirit part of our life, or the spirit part of the existence that we experience, or even just the spiritual realm that exists in earth or in heaven. Ignorance to the things of the spirit. That could be a ditch to fall on, because if you don't know that you have a spirit, or that you are a spirit, or that you're a spiritual being, then you're not going to be too concerned about keeping yourself spiritually healthy, because you don't know that you need to. So that's one end of the spectrum. On the other end, I feel like you can be active spiritually, but not healthy spiritually. So you're doing a lot of spiritual things, or you're reaching and grasping for the things of the Spirit, but you may be laying hold upon things that are spiritually dangerous, spiritually confusing, which leaves you back to being still spiritually unhealthy. I almost think of it as like somebody who knows about health. They know that they need to be healthy, but they don't have the training or the education about health. So whereas somebody who was a naturopathic doctor, or somebody who knew a lot about the human body and how it works, and the gut, and how it connects to all of your blood vessels and everything, or somebody who just thinks that if to be healthy you should go to Walgreens and buy some Ensure milkshakes, because of course, Ensure is a healthy drink. It's better than soda, right? So you see what I mean about the other ditch of knowing that you need to be spiritually healthy, but just grabbing for the wrong things that actually aren't helping you at all. So, have you ever heard Matthew 16:26? What will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits or loses his soul? Or what should a man give in return for his soul? In our culture, we go after more natural things. We go after the job, the house, the success, the money, the things that you can see and taste and touch. You can't really see, taste, or touch a soul, let alone a spirit. So, how do we build up our soul or build up our spirit? I believe that mankind has a soul, has a spirit, and has a body. And the interconnection between these three is fascinating. And I won't go into all of that here. One of my aims is not to act like I know it all on this podcast or have dozens and dozens of references and notes in front of me so that I sound smart. But I'm just telling you, innately we know that we have a conscience or a consciousness or a soul, and we don't really understand how it all works. But biblically, in the Bible, it does say that man has three parts: spirit, soul, and body. I believe the soul is your emotions and your mind realm, what controls how you operate, and your body is what you actually physically contact the world with, right? This is how I'm speaking to you right now, through my mouth, through my body. And I'm using my brain, but that's also physical. The emotions that I'm expressing through my mouth are coming from my heart, or you could say my soul. You could say the seat of the emotions, my mental space. What kind of makes up how I am and what makes me tick? Now, my spirit, your spirit, is the even deeper part that connects you to God. The spirit is the part of you that's the deepest, most innermost part of you that has a lot of work to do as well. So we work on our physical exercise to keep ourselves healthy, and we even talk about mental health, but spiritual health, guys, it's the core of everything. And so we really need to be spiritually healthy. If we haven't been on the road to spiritual health, we need to start now. It's dangerous to not only not care about your spirit, not know about your spirit, but it's dangerous to engage your spirit in spiritually dangerous activities, just like it would be dangerous to do things for your body that are not healthy, or dangerous to mess with your emotions or your heart in an unhealthy way. Is any of this making sense? I'm wondering, could there be a link to the mental health crisis and the physical health issues, especially in America, to the spiritual confusion and sickness that we also have among us? I think yes. What do you think? What do you think? I know that if you want to grab the Bible, Proverbs 17:22 says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." And there's many, many links like this that we find in Scripture to the consequences of damage or something awfully wrong going on in our heart or in our spirit, and the damage that can even create or manifest in our physical bodies. In this one, it's the crushed spirit dries up the bones. And we've seen and heard of many people who, when they get their spiritual issues worked out, their physical issues also follow suit. So thank you for listening to this. It's a short one. I'm just poking and prodding. I'm wanting to stir up conversation. I'm wanting to ask deep questions. And I'm not trying to offer all of the answers. But I'll tell you what. God kept me alive for a purpose. I was rowdy. I was into all kinds of things. He actually saved my life from dying and overdosing and things like that multiple times. He gave me a purpose to be an ambassador of his kingdom and a proclaimer of his good news. So if you're feeling spiritually down, if you're feeling dark, do you hear voices? Do you have constant night terrors or even tormenting thoughts? Do you feel like you've gone too far in certain areas and you can't backpedal because you're just slipping down a slippery slope that doesn't seem to be leading anywhere healthy? Well, there is good news. There is a way to become healed, renewed, restored, and I would even say saved out of this crooked, confusing, depressing, sick world. You can be saved physically, you can be saved mentally, emotionally, and the best of all, your spirit can be sound. You can have calm rest in your spirit. Things can be shaking and going crazy all around you, and you can have a steadiness, a steadfastness, and a security if you turn to the one who created you, the one who created your soul and your spirit and your body and your consciousness and your conscience and the way that you talk, your characteristics, who you are, the color of your eyes. It all matters to God. Remember what I opened with. That Christafari song was in my head. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved. You are loved by the Creator of your spirit. He is the Great Spirit. The Native Americans call him the Great Spirit, and they're right. He is the Great One, the eternal Spirit, the uncreated Spirit, the Spirit that has all of the wisdom and the knowledge and the power and the grace and the peace, and He's extending it to us if we would but humble ourselves. Take a chill pill, right? Realize for a second, hey, there are some areas of my life that I am desperate. And if it's not you that's desperate, be desperate for others. As I was sharing about all of the tragedies that are going on with our youth, with our kids, with people just angry and hateful and bitter, and they're not able to forgive. And they're not able to have joy in their life. And they're not able to receive love or give love back. And then to add it on top of all of that, we're put in this toxic soup of brainwashing in the media, cancel culture, force feeding us all of this racism and all of this confusion on the news, and, just the narrative that's been being pushed lately. That on top of we're already in deep need for affection, for acceptance, for guidance, for somebody to lead us spiritually. And then you add on top of it, I would go ahead and say, the plan of the elites, whoever they are, trying to, do things that are not in our best interest, but that are in their best interests. And they're taking advantage of us, folks. But there is a way to grasp a power higher than you that if you read the Bible and understand what God's about, He's about justice. He's about not letting any wicked people get away with the abuse that they've done to others. He is basically explaining that He loves humans, and that because of this love story that He has for them, He is going to rescue us, and He's going to do that through the man, Jesus Christ. A God that became a human and entered into our experience, entered into our brokenness, entered into the limitations that this earthly realm has, so that He could talk to us, so that He could walk with us, so that He could rescue us from ourselves and from dark spiritual forces that are out to get us. So let me know what you think. Please write in at powerhousepodcast7gmail.com. Shoot me some feedback. Tell me if anything I said was interesting, or if you want me to answer any questions. I would be more than happy to do that on air. I would also be happy to pray for you by name on the air, or secretly, just between me and the Great Spirit, offering up prayers for you and your individual challenges or struggles. Yeah, shoot me an email. I'm also on Instagram, Powerhouse Podcast 7. 3 John chapter 1, verse 2 says, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health, as it goes well with your soul. Thanks for listening. Remember, you're a loved one. Catch us next time. I'm going to try to bring on my wife, and we're going to shoot it back and forth. Hopefully, she'll be able to keep me in line so that the show goes smoother and sounds better. If you want to help me out also, let me know. I'm trying to get a microphone and some headphones and some other things to get a website going and to get more content out for you in the future. And of course, all of this is eventually going to bring awareness to what needs to be done here in our backyard. I mentioned a little bit about the adoption and foster issue. Man, we've cracked a serious case here with just the need that is out there for children to receive aid in the United States. Guys, one love, blessings. Come back next time on Powerhouse.